Do we really need high school for kids? Do kids really need some damn high school? Do kids really need college? What does it take to make it here? I'm coming with the answers today. Coming with some answers today. I got some questions your way, but I'm coming with these answers today. Get a diploma, they say. Sorry for my language, baby. Sorry for my language, baby. What you gonna do? Be a punch clocker, a clock puncher, be a damn doctor, a lunch server, a serve luncher, a lunch lady, somebody who delivers babies. What you gonna do with that diploma or high school grad ed? Something's gonna happen, man. This is all op-ed off the head. I suggest that you just do something fruitful. You could learn more than you thought when you're real useful. What's the School of Education doing? What's that department? I don't know, but all I'm feeling is that I'm about to start shit. Kids, look at your moms look at your hubby. Wonder what you gonna do with this kid from the cubby, from the locker stage. Don't be no cock blocker. Rage is gonna build up in that kid. They might join gangs instead. You gonna find something. You gonna do something. You gonna blossom. Life gonna be bumping. Shout out to the educated children. Yeah. Oh man, thank you. You're too kind. Welcome to Sorry for My Language. I'm Grindstone. I got something on my heart and something on my mind today. And you know I'm getting to it when I wear my shades, man. And so this is really where I am. So last week, I'm not even sure if it was last week, but this month, the Department of Education got the axe by the president's office, which made me start thinking, man, what does the Department of Education do? Well, I looked up some of what the Department of Education does, and Jimmy Carter established the Department of Education so there would be some standard of education, and then they can implement things that would make education more attainable and more equitable, to kind of even it out, to have like a fair America. But not so fast. That's not where my curiosity hid. Okay, my curiosity existed in a place where I was wondering, what is it about Americans? And I went to public school from 6th grade to 12th grade. What is it about the public school system that's just so damn terrible? Like, why are Americans walking around not knowing anything about geography, anything about topography, anything about nutrition, anything about buying a home, anything about credit? Like, how you even get a diploma to go off into the world to be in the workforce and you don't know about taxes? You don't know about a trust. You don't know about a shell company. You don't know about an LLC. How do you even why would they put you out of the schoolhouse without you knowing these things? I don't know. I was very curious about this, and so I started thinking about my school experience and what it is in school that we are expected to know, and then what we expect school to teach our children. And it's different now because school costs a lot of cheese. It's a lot on the line. Your wallet got to be bulky to get your kid in school. Your kid got to be gifted or connected, and they got to get that scholarship or something. Because in Pell Grants, whatever got some people through school on the hometown discount, that thing might not be available when it comes to college. So then you have to wonder, okay, what is the function of college? I'm gonna let y'all marinate. Welcome to Sorry for My Language, episode 32. What do you expect college or what do you expect that expensive high school to give your child? Or if you are the student, what do you expect to get from it? Now, before we go too far, I'd like to say that I expect for this to be kind of a rattling of the cage to convention because we're all taught that education is the great equalizer and it gets us equality in society and even a point of autonomy in society. Now, that I can't argue in full, but that was a statement that was said with regard to a system that existed in a certain way in its relationship to commerce at a certain time. That time has passed. Now, I went to college. I graduated from college. That meant something because it did allow me to attain some things as a direct result of that. I got to, hey, I graduated. Okay, well, therefore you get to have this opportunity, or therefore you get to have that. Now, don't get it twisted. The opportunities were for sure limited, but they would have been more limited without my college attendance and my college graduation. However, in 2025, we sit here in a society where a lot of the commerce is not determined on how educated you are because the supply chain of products, the ideation of concepts that could go straight to market, you don't have to be formally educated to present and to produce. You can know how to present and how to produce on a certain level where you become valuable without a high school education. Now, does that mean that you could walk around dumb and get it and keep it? No, not at all. But does that mean that that education is going to mean that you're not ignorant to the facts that you need to survive? I mean, like I said, I graduated from college. I'm, I'm, I have very diverse circles. Some who graduated from whatever's above college, med school, dental school, and whatever's above that, PhD friends. And I have friends who did not graduate from high school, didn't even get to high school. So when I look at it like that, I'm thinking, okay, just because somebody graduated from somewhere, it does not dictate their current lifestyle. Now, yes, the ones who went to advanced educations, they have advanced lifestyles. The ones who graduated and then decided to practice, because just because you went to law school and graduated doesn't mean that you're a lawyer. Doesn't mean that you have been litigating. Or you still got to take the bar and all that. But however, that generally means that the doors will open to you being able to secure some type of employment. But those who just graduated from college, not so much. But all the weight has been put on college. All the weight has been put on, you got to go to this high school so you get to that college. Going to that high school determines on how good you looked in junior high school or middle school, right? You're paying an arm and a foot for high school nowadays if your kid is not welcomed into that school on scholarship. Then you got to pay with your whole backbone and one of your butt cheeks when they get to college. But tell me this, what is your money paying for? Think about it. Sometimes you might need musical accompaniment to let you know what you need. And I always say, give me a lot of money, please. I gotta run, I can't do nothing with a tease. I got a son, I can't do nothing with a taste. Please don't push to put this thing off in your face. Give me a lot of money, please. I can't move and groove on empty tank. pallet parts. I needs to purchase me a drink. Big fella, where the fuck is the luck? It ain't none. It ain't no luck, right? People are wandering around here waiting for the luck. There ain't no luck. The shit's not fair, okay? Now, I will say this. High school and college are both wonderful social experiences. Sometimes they're social experiments. But we're at a place now where, unless you use high school or college as a vocational school, like for instance, if you want to be a journalist, you go to college, you enroll in the journalism school, you become a journalist. Like, unless it's like focused study like that, or I want to be a OBGYN, okay, then you go pre med, then you graduate, you go to med school, then you become OBGYN, whatever your name is, right? But if you're in there like, man, I'm not sure yet, I'm figuring it out, you're wasting the church's money. Trust that. This is why. And parents who are spending some bread or who about to figure this shit out after you spend that bread, listen, listen closely, get real close. Let's have a campfire. Your child, who you loveth so mucheth, and who you could really brag about, like name dropping. You could. My kid goes to so and so university. Wearing the little gear. You got the bumper sticker. I know you got the bumper sticker. Bumper sticker ass. That child gives you identity because of where they enrolled. However, if that kid is undecided on what they're gonna do, then and they're not using college as a vocational school, then they're only getting the social experience out of it, which is a great experience. But how much are you willing to pay for a social experience? That's sometimes an experiment. What's the value in that? Well, I found a lot of value in my Oakland public school education, socially, morally. Like I learned a lot of. I played football, and so like I think high school sports are damn near it's irreplaceable. Like when it comes to playing high school sports, you learn so much about yourself, your limits as a child. I think high school sports are really great for a kid. Um, but still, we still talking about the social part, right? We're not talking about if you know how many countries are in Africa or how many cities are in California, or I don't know what's the population of Atlanta, or E equals MC squared. We're not talking about the academia. We're talking about the social part, right? So in Oakland Public School, um, man, I think that got me real sharp. It was just so much shit from the time you walk out the front door, the walk to the bus, on the bus, at school, after school, waiting for the bus, on the bus, the walk home, or get a ride home, or get a ride, like however it was going down, it was a lot to learn, right? The academic part of it, not so much. Not to say that the teachers weren't doing their job, but it just wasn't truly engaging to the point where I retained hella shit from class. I did retain some things, but not a lot. And shout out to my teachers at Skyline High. But to be honest, the authority figure who I remember the most from Skyline, who had a real impression on my life, was Coach Beam, my football coach. He taught life lessons as well as coach football. Um, Man, I can't even tell you my math teacher's names. I would have to look in a yearbook. There's not a teacher in high school who I would love to go back and see. You know what I'm saying? And give a hug to and just be like, man, thank you. Not that they weren't cool people, but there was just like not a hell of a connection there like that. And some of them were cool, like no problems, except for Miss Singaris. Yeah, let's call her ass up. That might be the wrong sound, but I just got to make some noise on Miss Singaris. Let me tell you. So Miss Singaris taught English, right? And then in English, we will learn something about uh that's what we learned about Greek mythology and shit like that. Miss Singaris was Greek. Now, I don't think Miss Singaris was doing anything consciously wrong, but she would always spend hella time teaching us about Greek shit. We just learned so much shit about Greek, Greek this, Greek that, Greek that. After a while, it was like, damn, woman. Damn, woman. When we gonna learn about Africa? Don't you see you at a school with a whole bunch of black people? And yes, we did have a Greek population. We had a Polynesian population. We had an Asian population. We had a white American population. But the school was like 49% black, if not 50% black. And then everybody else had to share those other percentages, right? So damn, how come we learn about Greece all the time and we not learning shit about nothing else? I'm sure it was uh some folk tales in Africa that you could have spent time telling motherfuckers about, but no. Here we go talking about Diomedes again, and maybe that's where diabetes came from. But no, here we are talking about all these Greek gods and Helena, Minerva, Zeus, all that shit. And not like anything is wrong with that, but we spent a disproportionate amount of time on where she was from. She was pushing her line, right? And even in school, I just didn't think that was rightfully divided. So when my son went to high school, he went to high school at a private high school in DC, very prestigious joint, and that school cost a lot of money. And shout out to being able to make the money to so we could get him through there. But that ain't what we talking about. That joint cost some real bread. And I think he connected with some good friend circles there because they're children of parents, right? But now we're talking about the social thing again, right? His circles became, the children of parents who were doing well, connected to a lot of things, connected to a lot of people who had standards for their lifestyle. And with that comes a future. You'll be placed around fruitful people in the future. Okay. And so then you can say, well, that's what you pay for. All right. But stay with me. I remember it was one summer. I can't remember if it was going to his junior year of high school or his senior year of high school when the parents have to come in. I don't even know if the parents had to come in, but we were able to come in and speak to the counselor about the classes for the upcoming year. And I remember he had it was like first semester. Now I might get it kind of off, but it was similar to this. It was like first semester British history and then second semester English history. Ain't that the same damn place? Y'all ain't slick. And then I was like, okay, wait. So when you learn about something, other parts of the world outside of England, like when does that happen? Well, that's called world history. So you piping up you filling up these 2 semesters with one country, and then the rest of the world has to fit into the rest of his high school career. And that doesn't make sense. I was bothered by that, but realized this is the machine, and this meeting isn't going to change it. And he just got to hurry up and graduate because I already signed up to pay for this shit with his mom. And so it brings me back to the point: what the hell are we really getting from high school? I believe in high school, outside of the social part, you're being well, and this isn't even totally outside of it, but you're being trained how to acquiesce, how to become a spoke in America's wheel. You're learning the values of society, and they're training you how to produce in society when called upon to produce. In high school, you're very rarely academically rewarded for being original, innovative, or having any type of creative spin on what is being presented. The more you are excellent in following the protocol and doing everything they say do, then the better you are on your transcript and um the higher your recommendation will be to the next level. I don't like that. I don't like that. So then the thing is, okay, we'll create a better way. Okay, so this is how I see it. I went to a school from like nursery school to fifth grade where the teachers were well sourced, really cared, and they taught us a lot of information from like age 3 to 10. Shout out to Shelton's Primary Education Center, also known as SPEC. Ask about them. SPEC was the shit. And we still operate like surrogate family. And then really like family. It was just like such a tough unit. That was Man, that was a very if Netflix existed then or something like that, if everybody could film back then, uh, uh that would be a documentary that would be deserving of winning all the awards. So we learned so much before we became adolescents at that school that when we had to cross over and go into the normal world, the normal world was so many steps behind us in so many categories. Speaking a different language, um, math, science, even even our physical aptitude. We had a African dance instructor come in, and I can't remember how many days a week it was, but came in for body movement. Getting us somatically intelligent. Body movement. We had, we all, always playing the sports, tetherball. Recess. We were recessing, but then we had a baseball team, right? And we was really, really practicing and really getting busy playing baseball. And we learned teamwork, and and it was baseball. It wasn't it was as serious as baseball gets at that level. So we had all the bases pretty much covered. I'm trying to think, was there a karate class in that joint? I can't remember. I don't want to start it. But we covered a lot of bases when it came to knowing ourselves, knowing our community, knowing where we were from, knowing how to. We even had a little banking system in the school. This is elementary school. We learned hella shit as youngsters. So why can't the American educational system equip children, give you all this information about how to use cameras, how to how legislation works? And this was in the same era when Schoolhouse Rock, when TV, when the cartoons were really teaching us stuff too. So why have we abandoned what what can be taught to a child? The board game Monopoly, they did a really good job introducing people to real estate ownership, um, staying in and out of the laws, going to jail, taxes. Like the game Monopoly is really gamed up, and they did their part. But if a board game could do that much to teach you where high end real estate is and how much bargaining power you have in your community with that, and then um, real estate that is very cheap, but how much money you can make doing that, and how you can just move around financially in the world. If a board game can do that, that you just play occasionally, why can't school do that? Why are we so undereducated as a country? And why do we have to keep going through this cycle? High school is a social experience. You don't learn shit in that joint. You might, depending on what teacher you have, class you have, you might learn something that you retain and use later. I don't know. I really don't know. I remember my boy, he got a job as a civil engineer, and I think I was asking him how they build bridges or some shit. And he was like, "We use trigonometry." I was like, "Damn, what the fuck is trigonometry?" Because I took trigonometry in 11th grade, but I didn't understand that at all. I cheated the whole way because whatever was going on in class, I couldn't understand what was happening. And not one time was there a practical application of how trigonometry was going to be a part of my real ass life. Didn't mean to press that button, but I'm going to drink some water. He explained to me that trigonometry is how you use triangles to measure arches and all this shit, right? So I was just like, damn, why didn't they say that in class? Like, why wasn't that used as an example? Um, why didn't they take us outside and say, imagine building some shit using this formula or something? Or build something at home using this formula and bring it back to class or some shit. Like we didn't I feel and I get this, I'm also an ex-teacher. All right. I taught physical science, which is the science of the earth's surface and the from the surf from the ocean to the atmosphere and beyond. That's what physical science is. I taught that to seventh grade for 2 years in my adult years, right? But even on that side of it, I saw how wrecked the system was as they try to reach standards, which will show how qualified the general, well, the school is, but then how much the school district is kicking ass in the world. But it's all measured based on certain tests. These tests don't accurately capture the aptitude of students. It just really shows how well they do on tests. And everybody in school, you took these tests, and these tests cheated everybody. I mean, they cheated everybody because you were taught for the test and you weren't taught for life. So there are a couple things that I think the students could be taught before the age, definitely before the age of 14. They could be taught taxes. They could be taught healthy eating. They could be taught mortgages. They could be taught living wills and trusts. And they could be taught about how the fucking stock market works. You have all that time. You have all that time with a willing student. Students are participating their very best. You have all that time with the willing student sitting up in there, trying to get good grades, trying to pay attention, trying not to get smacked around because you got C's, D's, and F's, right? And then you don't even respect that time and tell that kid what they need in order to live. And this continues throughout college, right? How many of y'all in college, how many of y'all college students learned how to um, predict the stock market in college? Huh? How many of y'all in college learned about how to make money using life insurance as the asset and then creating a LLC business, putting that in a shell company, and then putting that shell company in the trust being controlled by the trust? How many of y'all learned that in college? Why not? I know you didn't learn that shit in college. Why didn't you learn it in college? You paid enough money, right? And this is where the problem starts. You have several early 20 somethings graduating from colleges that it was a big ass celebration when they got accepted. It was a big ass celebration when they graduated, and then they got dropped off into real life, not knowing how to do anything that was going to sustain them. They didn't know how to put gas in their car and food in their fridge in the same week. They trying to figure this out. Like, how the hell do I how does this work? I can't figure this out. You know? I mean, you have students who not even students, ex-students who feel betrayed. They were put in positions as heralded, clean cut, well mannered, productive, fruitful motherfuckers in the society, and they don't know how to make $25 by the end of the week. School ain't teach them. They learned how to be a good student. But what's being a good student worth if you're not in school no more? They learn the system of school. That's all the fuck they learn. They learned how to apply for a job. The company who they about to apply for no longer exists. Why did you spend all that money? Well, some might say, because that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. You're supposed to put the kid in the best position. I totally understand that. But times have changed. The page has turned. So are you walking your child now into Never Never Land? No, that was Michael Jackson shit. Hold up. Not Never Never Land. Fuck it. Into just a fantasy land? You walking in to go see Santa? You were nice, so you're gonna get rewarded. Your ass ain't gonna get rewarded if you don't know how to do some basic shit out this joint. It's not happening. It ain't gonna happen. You need to know how to do some basic shit to thrive. And that basic shit can be taught between the ages of 3 and 12. And now at 12 years old, that little motherfucker is in middle school. And now they could go to middle school, they could get their social experiences, and they could sit there in class and really soak up game and go through puberty and all that, right? At that point, I don't think students, like after middle school graduation, I don't think people should have to go to high school. Because the shit don't work. It's nothing in high school. I mean, just look at society. It's nothing in high school that's going to guide your child to a better day if they don't want to fucking be there, except for sports. The way the high schools are now, like and I'm talking about, I have experience with the best high school, right? You get to learn your friend circle, but that shit does not translate into, I'm about to take this and be great in the world. Nah. So I think the tough decisions shouldn't be made at age 23, 22, 24. The tough decision should be made at like age 14, 15, like around when you about to go to high school. Like, okay, do I need to go to this motherfucker? Now, some parents use high school for their kid at least, they use high school as an advanced daycare. That's a place where I could drop this motherfucker off. They're gonna get a lunch, and I get to go keep doing what I do, and that's what they do. And their only accountability is like how they do with their grades. And then, so when you count up the hours in high school, I've never done this, but shit, it's 4 years. And they identify with the high school. Like I said, socially, it's wonderful, right? But whatever you do between age, let's say 15 and 22, whatever you do, you're going to learn a lot socially. Like whatever you do. Now, hopefully, you don't turn to the streets. But going to high school doesn't stop you from going to the streets. The streets are in high school. That's like that's where that's the streets' day job, going to high school. So going to high school does not keep your kid out the streets. So therefore, if you want the most productive experience out of your child, you have to have real important talks with yourself about productivity. Now, some of you are probably watching this like, no shit, my kid went to this high school and now they're going to that college and they're in that program at that college. And I commend you. Matter of fact, sound like you spent a lot of bread and I'm cool with that. Sound like they spend a lot of time and I'm cool with that. But what happens the day after graduation, the month after graduation, the week after graduation, the season after graduation, the year after graduation? How does that shit track? Look at the money that was spent and what the hell are they going to be doing the year after they graduate? Are they going to be in your home asking you when if dinner is on? Shit, the rate things are going now. The rate at which things are going now, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a big disappointed person inside of your house who's not viable based on their high school and college training. They don't have a viable skill or trait that will get them $1 in the world. And that's where it is, right? I know you know. I know you know. So we got to do some life teaching, man. Now, we got to do some life teaching. So now what this means, now just examine this. Right now, I think it costs $33,000 per year for a student to go to Howard University. Now, I'm not even talking about like the Brown, the Columbia, UPenn, Harvard. I ain't talking about those. Stanford. Let's just talk about Howard, right? 33,000. Now, 33,000 ain't no punk. So you multiply that times 4, that's $132,000 that you will have spent for a college career on tuition alone. Okay? 132,000. Now, do this experiment. Cut 132,000 in half. You got 66,000, right? Take $66,000 to this person who just graduated from high school. Stretch that over 4 years. That's about, well, no, do this. Every other month, that child of yours, a young adult, can live in a different country for a month for $4,000. So that means if they graduate in May, they could chill at home in June. July, bow. We done found, like, you figure out where you're going to live, like what other country you're going to live, get like a short-term rental apartment, you know, you stay up in that joint, you live there for a month, and we would have, you know, together, we will have studied the area in the country where you're living, and, you know, perhaps you find, you know, you contact some people and then you find some shit you could do there, right? Just don't turn into a hoe. No, none of that. And don't become a dope boy in another country. But you go to another country, you exist in that for a month, the month of July. Then you come back, spend a month at home in August. Then September, bow, you go to another country. Here's another $4,000. Then September, you come back. October, you go to another country. We do the same thing, right? Do that for 4 years. Give them their living expense, their base living expense will be 4,000 per month, but it's every other month. Now, by the end of a college term, that's $66,000 as opposed to that $132,000 that was just spent at Howard. And I'm just saying Howard because I just know their tuition, okay? Not because I'm shading Howard. I'm not. It's wonderful people came out that joint. I love the people who I know from Howard. But you spent $66,000. Now, over the course of 4 years, you've spent a month in 24 different countries. Did I do that math right? Yeah. Every other month for a year, that's 6 months. 4 years, 6 times 4 is 24. Say they graduated high school at 18 years old. By the time they're 22, they've spent a month in 24 different countries. And you've spent half the money that you would have spent otherwise. Now, I'm just saying, who do you think is more prepared for the world? The one who went to Howard and did not use it as a vocational school, right? So I'm saying if a person knows they want to be a broadcast journalist and they go to broadcast journalism school, they have used college beautifully. If a person wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, something specified, and they go to school for that purpose, they've done it beautifully. But if somebody's going to school and they're rather undecided, they have not figured that out yet, this is for that person, okay? Or if somebody's doing something to fit in, this is like just to fit into the narrative of, I went to college and I'm a college student and, I got the memorabilia and, and it feels good to be a college student too. It feels really, really good. You feel like you did the things right, but we're trying to do the things right now. Who is more fit to go out in the world and know how to pull some strings and push some buttons and do a thing instead of do nothing? Did y'all hear that? Who is able to go out there and pull some strings, push some buttons, make it happen, and come up with something? Do you think it's the person who spent that time in these different areas or the time that was spent in this one institution? And you might have wonderful bonds with friends, like, I'm just talking about the academia, the working knowledge that you will have gotten. Who will be the more prosperous one? 9 times out of 10, it's up to you to think. It's up to you to come up with that decision. But it's something that you should really be thinking about right now, because what we're going to have with AI and just technology in general, we're going to need fewer humans to do entry-level jobs. Okay? There's not going to be just a bevy of jobs. Turn in your damn application and work for somebody. That shit ain't going to be all just sitting there, greased up, waiting on you to come throw your application in so we can give you some money twice a month. That job ain't going to be there because we're going to figure it out. I mean, look at the secretary. All right, now cut her out. People don't need secretaries like that. It's several jobs that simply aren't necessary because there's an app for that. So what you going to do? How are you going to be useful? How are you going to attain your goals? What is it that you plan on doing the season after you graduate from college? And a lot of y'all going to be here with them student loans. And maybe if a lot of y'all aren't up for them student loans, some of y'all parents done mortgage their house. But how do you get that money back? Remember, whatever somebody does between the age 18 and 22, they're going to learn a lot. They're going to learn a whole lot. Now, would you rather have them learn that at a college, or would you rather have them learn that in the school of the world? I don't know. That's something for you to think about. But think about which one will give them the most benefit and why. Think about which one would give you the most benefit if you're the student and why. That's just for the college discussion. There's another discussion to be had because, by the way, how could I forget? I made a decision about this damn jacket. This jacket is brought to you by Grindstone Universal. It's showtime. Go to grindstoneuniversal.com. Fly shit on deck, zipped up to the neck. Orange with the trimming. The African women might get this from they dress. This is wax cotton. You see the premeditation patch. All gratin, all cheese, all money in. All you wanna do is look like me. I'll never be like you. Bang, 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 bang. I'll just be on my shit talk. But yeah, this is Grindstone Universal. You can find this, and I swear I'll be putting it to Galva. Catch me in the garment district, snatching and grabbing and paying at the counter with good relationships. You know, getting my shit together because spring is upon us, and I gotta have y'all looking right. Anyway, grindstoneuniversal.com. COM. COM. What is the skill that your person who you care about, or you who has just lost your job, can't find a job, shit is shaky, what you gonna do in 2025 and beyond? Well, if you don't have a real skill, talent, or something that you're willing to mold and give at the very least 5 uninterrupted hours to it per day to make it become a thing, if that's not happening in your world, then you need a marketable skill. Your ass need to learn how to code. You need to learn how to code. I want you to super feel that. Coding and learning AI is something that will help you move through the present and future economy. AI is going to be running all types of shit, but there's certain people who will be running AI. There's certain people who will still be called upon to build systems and websites and digital bridges. Those people are still necessary. Learn that. It's so much right now that you can learn on YouTube. I mean, really. Like, if you really want to change your life and you know knowledge is key, you could sit with YouTube, you could sit with audiobooks. Libraries are still here. You go to libraries. I mean, you could go to one place. That'll refer you to another thing. That'll refer you to another thing. You go to a conference. That'll refer you to a person. That'll make this shit real. So explain to me again why you need college. I mean, why you need college? Explain that. If it's not for a vocation and you're just going along because that's the thing that you were told to do, and if parents, if that's the thing that you felt it was proper to send your kids to college, what a beautiful time I had at college too. Like, shout out to Hampton University. I swear. But we're not looking for expensive socializing, are we? You can learn so much. The great equalizer was, I guess, it was education, and education was housed specifically in schools. But the great equalizer now is that digital display screen where you could go in that joint and learn so much about so many nooks and crannies of the world in great detail, in great functional detail. And it's crazy how like the slapstick celebrity bait occupies the time of so many people when you could really be using those same hours on that same device, learning the things that set you free. I'm gonna give you some game. Matter of fact, we need a game break. Mm, mhm, mhm. I'm gonna show y'all how to end the ghetto. This is how you end the poverty line. And I wasn't taught this at school. All right. Man, can I do this in less than a minute? I could do this in less than 120 seconds. Life insurance is something that's available to everybody who's alive. So just take an impoverished family. It's the mama, she got 3 kids, single mom. Let's put it like she got three kids. Let's say she got four kids, three baby daddies, right? She could get a life insurance policy and have, say she gets $1 million policy. That $1 million cut up four ways, that's 250, 250, 250, 250. You got two, did I say three baby? You got three baby daddies, right? Say they get life insurance policies. That's, say they get them for $1 million, right? So that means that three of them four are going to get $1 million. Okay, so that's one, two, three, four adults. That's now $4 million upon death. Now, if you rock your life insurance policy right, you actually use it for life, and you don't have to wait till death. Okay, but that's a IUL. That's different. That's a little deeper game. But look up IUL. So you got, let's say this is I don't need whatever. This is generation X who gave birth to some generation Z's. Okay, so you got the generation Z's, and then damn, this is kind of morbid, but hey, it's finite. Life ends. The Gen Xers pass away. Boom. Now the Gen Zs who they gave birth to, they could be they some project kids, right? None of the parents had shit. They worked regular, they tried, they were able to sustain, but their life was pretty much hand to mouth. They didn't really have too much savings in what they did, but now they pass away. Bow. Now, now you got four kids who are now adults. Bam, that's 1 million that goes to one of the baby daddy's kids. Bam, he gets hit off with 1 million. Wait, first of all, mama dead, right? So that's wait, I'm doing this. Mama dead. So that's 250, 250, 250, 250. Boom. Okay, so all of them get a one-time 250 hit. Now these are adults who were not particularly well off, but they get a 250 infusion. Bow. You got three baby daddies, right? They dead. One of these kids gets one of these kids gets 1 million who got the 250. So that's 1.2, right? Now you got two baby daddies left. Bow, this one gets 1.2. Then this one gets 1.2. All these kids grew up together. You now got $3 million amongst these four. Oh, no. I said three baby daddies. Hold up. You got $4 million in between these kids who were once broke. These are these now adults, right? That's a $4 million infusion. Now the mom and each of the parents could have a trust, should have a trust. The trust shows who the money will go to, how the money is to be appropriated, when the money is to be appropriated, and a trust can have whatever you want in it, but it can also have instructions on, look, this is what you do with the shit, right? So then, you just don't get some people who never touched it before, never thought about it. They get money and just fuck it off in a casino. Now you have a plan. So parents, even just adults, it is your job to plan. Write that shit down. Put it in a trust. Now, four motherfuckers, these four kids who was about to who probably have kids, and they was about to create a bigger layer of ghetto with their offspring. Now you have a plan and you have some finances. And nobody played sports for it. The family got 4 million now. The fuck? And they got a plan. Why didn't they teach you that in school? That's why I think school has failed damn near everyone. Not everyone, but if my vehicle worked at a rate that school worked at, like between 0% and 100%, I would be stranded right now. And I think school has failed so many people that you gotta kind of like be like, look, this shit don't work, and maybe to the point where it's not even fucking necessary at a higher level or not mandatory for everybody to go, because people can find more value in time to create and learn shit as teenagers to young adults than be forced in this dysfunctional funnel called high school. And then parents, you will be more fortified financially if you don't send them to these fucking private schools. Because for what? That kid who graduated from the public, I mean from the public school, and that kid who graduated from the fucking private school, these motherfuckers ain't, it ain't no gap in intelligence. It's not. It's not. They're the same aptitude of a 25-year-old when they both get 25. What are we doing? We're wasting our resources on a belief system, on an ego based system, because we feel that we fail our children if we don't do it. That's where you're lost. So I challenge everybody to really be hypercritical of where your money's going when you cutting these motherfucking private school checks. Yeah, man, he got, but that took him to the University of boom, boom, boom. Okay, I mean that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. And he graduates. He got a degree. Okay, that's dope. That's dope. And then I could get him a job at so and so. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah. By the time he graduates, that motherfucking company is not gonna be there to give him a job. Shit's different. So what's the education worth? What's the training worth? Not as much as you spent. So to all the brilliant people, I want you to think of the return on investment in that shit, you know? And I do not think the education is the same word as intelligence building or growth nurturing. I think education is more closely related to societal training, how you can be a non disruptor in the American system. And they may or may not pay you for that shit. It's a lot of depressed 20 somethings. They feel like we failed them with our mythology of what the public was going to give them when they got a certain age and when they showed up with a certain piece of paper. I think a lot of them feel failed. So what you going to do? What you going to do? You going to keep on with the Santa Clauses and Tooth Fairy and Easter Bunny's real? Or you going to be like, "Look, man, we going to we going to learn some shit while as you're coming up, and at around age 11, I'm gonna put you in different places where you can start learning shit from different people who know how to do different things. Why somebody got to wait till they 28 to learn how to do HVAC? Why somebody got to wait till they're 22 until they learn how to start coding and programming? Like, why are we just thinking that school is the place that makes the best person? And I know once that check clears for the school, you feel like you did the damn thing. But I'm telling you, did the damn thing. You had the right aim, but you had the wrong target. You aimed with love and you came with means, but you aimed that shit at the wrong place most of the time. Most of the time. That's how paying for school works most of the time. So, man, use all your digital resources to learn, to teach, to share. Do it. I think the benefit sits right there. I really do. And, I could be wrong. Actually, it's the opposite of that. Hey, I'll be here all week. Anyway, here I am. This is Grindstone. And you have been witnessing my rant at Sorry for My Language. My real life rant, though. I mean, in real life, I think these things need to be rethought because there are too many educated people out here selling butt and selling drugs and trying to put on a damn hoodie and rob somebody, and then ultimately just knowing that they feel like they've been let down. They feel like they are underachieving. You put the time in, student. You put the time in, young person. You put the time in, middle-aged person. You did. You did all that time in school. You did it the way you were supposed to do. You had the right aim and the wrong fucking target. You are now in a position where you have to teach yourself some shit, just like the person who never went to school has to teach themselves some shit. Now, if you know what you want to do, take a class, enroll in some school. If you know what you want to do, that's a wealthy that's a resource where people can help you because you'll really know what to ask. You really know what you want out of it. But otherwise, man, it's so many resources out here that I don't know, man. School seems like a Christmas tree to me. That'd be that bullshit. It's old, it's been chopped down and put up and presented as if it's the center of life's desires. And I'm not hating on school, but I'm not even hating. I'm just looking at the attention that we give it as we starve ourselves mentally, financially. And then eventually it drains us spiritually because we'd be like, well, damn, how come I'm working retail and I graduated with this major? Or why am I sitting in this damn call center and I spent all this time on these campuses? Like, what am I doing? This leaks all the way into people's 40s, man. People be sitting like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Into people's 50s. This haunts people for their whole life who haven't figured it out. So I think that it's time to think differently. I know it is. So, in the comments, tap in. Let me know, if you come across a brilliant idea. If you come across a way, if you have an add on here. But I really want everybody to think about the time and the money that is spent going into an institution and where that pops out on the other end of that. And would you give money to anything else like that that doesn't give you the action on the other end of it? You know, have demands for your money. Just want to think about. Sorry for my language. Remember, go to grindstoneuniversal.com and get fresh like me. Hey, meditate on that.